now being joined by the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, Governor Daud Lala. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much, Shehu.
It's good to see you. How do you feel the arrest of this bandit leader? What's his name again? Habibu Sububu.
Shehu, let me say this. I'm one of the most happiest person considering what we're going through in Zamfara State as far as banditry is concerned. As you know, Halilu Sububu was one of the major kingpin in terms of bandits in Zamfara State and the northern part of the country. He controls a large chunk of bandits, full of money, well connected in terms of sourcing arms, and so on and so forth. And today, that guy is no more.
He's been dropped dead.
Absolutely.
What about his followers?
It should be a different thing. You know, they don't have what it takes. They don't have the capacity like Halilu Sububu. So right now they're in total disarray, including the likes of Turji.
Where is Turji? Because I thought
it's running somewhere within Sokoto axis and Zamfara axis around Shinkafi area.
Because the Ministry of State for Defense and the CDS were going to camp in Sokoto in search of Turji. And when we imagine that, how difficult is it to be able to clamp down on Turji and capture him?
That was a talk show.
Really?
As far as Minister of State Defense is concerned.
You don't think that
he was only in Sokoto for just one night, and he left. The last I heard of him was in Kano distributing rice. So what has that got to do with his presence in Sokoto? The guys have done very well, the military and other security agencies, by killing Sububu. It's a major, major development.
Has it brought some calm into Zamfara?
Of course. The whole of Zamfara now, and not just Zamfara, Sokoto as well as Katsina, Kebbi, and Niger, we're all happy and excited for what happened.
I mean, the audacity sometimes, and these guys are being said to be on TikTok, talking about their outrageous and terrible acts. And now we're even hearing that they're saying that they're waging war against Nigerian state and Nigerian military. And someone like Sheikh Gumi is saying that he's worried, and the reports linked to Sheikh Gumi as to the fact that he's worried as to the narrative about these bandits, whether or not they are taking up some religious fundamentalism into what they are doing, which is an extreme of what we saw in Boko Haram. Are you worried about that kind of narrative?
Sharon, I think in this kind of war, propaganda will always play a role. And that is exactly what the likes of Turji are doing. I still maintain my stand. Our forces have the capacity to neutralize these guys. You know, initially I spoke about political will, and it is now really they're showing the political will, and it's working. My prayer is it should be sustained. By the time they do that, believe me, as I always say, banditry will be a matter of history in northern Nigeria and Nigeria as a whole.
Is your government having any interface with some of these bandit leaders?
No. My stand has always been I will not negotiate with the bandits. That has always been my stand.
But you don't have any interface. Past government have tried to have a handshake, and we've seen also in Katsina, the former Speaker of the House and the former governor in Katsina, they had some interface which they thought that it might be good. And there are those religious leaders within the northeast and the northwest region of the country who thought that, look, the carrot approach might work better than the stick approach in getting them to lay down their arms and walk away. And those who think that maybe you can stretch a hands of fellowship to them and give them the olive branch, and such that they will think that what they are doing is wrong and drop all of those weapons. Is it possible?
I keep saying this. I'm not a military person, or rather a security expert. However, from my little understanding of warfare, you only negotiate at the point of strength, not at the point of weakness. There's nothing wrong in negotiating with these guys so long as they're ready, they're committed, holistic. And when they know, if they don't, there'll be consequences. It's at that point that, yes, when they show commitment by laying down their arms publicly for everybody to see, genuine, without any condition, then yes, you can say that. But at this point, when they know with all their propaganda, thinking that they're more superior than the security forces, I don't believe in that.
So you're taking the war to them, and you're joining forces with
that
the
is
federal
exactly
government.
what we should do.
What about this fact that you're giving them funds, you're talking to them, and there are in fact documents that are surfacing online to that effect?
Sharon, as I said earlier, my stand has always been no negotiation with bandits.
Not even through the back door?
Not through any door.
And you have not paid them a dime?
I have never in my life. Why would I do that?
But there's a document surfacing that...
I don't play double standard.
That your government under you are paying.
Do you have a copy of that document?
It's online, I'm not sure. The veracity of it is the reason why we cannot put it on the screen.
Let me explain this document to you. When you look at the heading of that document, it says Northwest Summit in Katsina. This Northwest Summit took place 3 months ago. If you look at the background of that letter or that memo, there is no correlation between the headline as well as the content of that memo. When you go down to the memo and see when the memo was approved, this was an event that took place 3 months ago in June, precisely around the 24th. And the approval of that memo was on the 2nd of September, 2024, on my birthday. And I remember on that day, I did not sign a single memo. In fact, I was at the, council meeting on that day. Now, with all my experience as an executive director of a bank for 8 good years, you'd think I'll go low, that low, and sign a memo with the name of a bandit, all the bandits in Zamfara State. Remember, this is a world of record. Someday I'll leave that office and somebody will look at that memo to say, "Oh, governor, that stands very clear that he's not going to negotiate with bandits." And he's now writing names of bandits. Come on, I can do more than that.
So this is wrong. That is
one.
That's showing on the screen.
Let me also tell you something. In my administration, we have laid down process and procedure. Because for any memo that originates, this is something to do with security. It should have come from the Honorable Commissioner, Security. And the second leg is a list of individuals, including journalists, which should have come from the Ministry of Information. And on that memo, in every memo we write, there's a word of charge, an account that will be deducted with a balance to show this is how much is left in that account. And I challenge anybody to go to Zamfara State and show me in our statement where such money was deducted. But then, if you look at the address, the way it was addressed as Honorable Commissioner of Finance, I challenge you, Shewan, you have a correspondent in Zamfara State. Go to Ministry of Finance. Show me any memo from May 29th, 2023 to date, where I addressed my Honorable Commissioner that way, I'll pay 20 million. Any memo that I use to address my Honorable Commissioner of Finance, that way, I'm ready to pay 20 million to that person tomorrow.
So
I have given instruction to the Honorable Commissioner of Finance as well as the Accountant General. Go and look at any memo under my administration. If there's any one that I've addressed my commissioner that way, I'm ready to pay 20 million on that.
So this is not from your office, and this is force.
You know, the interesting thing is, like I said, technology has a role to play here. And when we saw that memo, we took it upon ourselves to go to the extent and find out where it originated, the IPP address. And we're able to do that. And guess what? I've written a letter to the IG, copied DSS, NIA, that we are going to take legal action. We must find where that memo.
Where did you trace it to?
It's already before the legal team. We are taking legal action. And
so you have an idea of where this is coming from?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's technology. You know, people are so narrow-minded. There are ways you can do things. Shaun, I'm better than that.
So you don't have any back door or front door dealings with any of the bandits?
Even side door, there's none. Now, not even the front door and back door. There's not even side door.
Let's look at the initiative that you are taking on the ground, the local vigilantes and the security network in Zamfara State. How much of empowerment, how much of legal powers do they have to be able to help in fighting these bandits?
Remember, when we came on board, we set up the Community Protection Guard,
the
CPG. And this CPG is fully backed by law of the State Assembly in Zamfara State. Through the process of recruitment, the DSS, the police, as well as civil defense, had to profile every candidate. It was based on their recommendation that we hired those guys. And like I said, even the role they are playing right now is key because they understand the terrain better than conventional security. So therefore, they are always in collaboration with the conventional security in terms of leading the way, understanding the terrain. And that was exactly what led to the killing of people.
They were very instrumental to that.
They were very, very instrumental.
They provided intelligence.
They are very, very instrumental.
And are you confident that they might also help in the arrest and prosecution of Turji? Or you think Turji is difficult to arrest?
It's a matter of time. Turji, very, very soon, with what we have in place, with the collaboration between us and the federal government, security agencies, believe me, it's a matter of time. Turji will be killed very, very soon. Take that from me.
If Turji is killed or brought to book, would that bring some level of end to banditry in your state?
It may not completely do that, but it will bring it down significantly.
What would be bring end to banditry in your state?
What we need to do is to sustain this pressure.
Military pressure?
Military pressure. If we're able to sustain this within the next 2 weeks to 1 month, believe me, it will be a different story as far as banditry is concerned.
But on one hand is banditry, on the other hand are those who are cutting away mineral and natural resources, because the talk in the whole country is how much of Nigeria's gold and natural resources are being taken by non-state actors and being helped by foreigners and those who bring helicopters. Some of these helicopters are said to be sighted to be used by these bandits. And you don't think that there is a handshake between some of these illegal miners who are said to be funding some of these bandits? Are you worried about that?
There's correlation between banditry and to some extent these mining activities. You can't rule that out. And what we're saying right now is, let's have a proper way of coordinating the entire mining sector, where there will be a proper collaboration between federal government, because mining is on an exclusive list. However, the land belongs to the state. So there must be that synergy between the two.
Did you give, is the government really in the knowledge of giving out land officially to any mining company, either local or foreign?
What we did, initially, yes, somebody can just get a license from Abuja and go to Zamfara or any part of this country and do mining. But this time around, we said, no, it's not possible, and that cannot continue. Let's sit down and look at this holistically between the Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals, as well as all the state governments that have mining in their respective states, and come up with a very tangible way of doing these things, where the state will benefit, as well as federal government. That way, we will have absolute control of these illegal mining activities.
Do you have a list of the miners in the state, official miners in your state?
It is difficult because you're just there as a governor.
As a host, but not the one that is authorizing them.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense.
So none of the monies being gotten from the mineral is coming to your state?
There's a time I asked the Honorable Minister, can you tell me how much you're generating from all these mining activities as federal government? And he couldn't answer the question. I wish he did. Then I would have asked for my own share of that resources. So that means something fundamental is wrong.
Would you, for example, there are those governors who have said, look, for now, my state is not no-go area for this kind of activity because of security situation.
I'm one of those.
Has it come to that point to say, shut down mining activities for now?
I am one of those. In fact, I've signed an executive order banning mining activities in Zamfara.
For how long?
Well, it's been on for now, until we're able to put things that will be beneficial to all of us.
Governor Lawal, let me ask you quickly about your predecessor, former Governor Matawale, and the EFCC issue. Those who think that this might be personal. Is it personal?
Shaun, there is nothing personal between Dauda or Zamfara State Governor with Matawale. Remember, EFCC made pronouncements sometimes around May 24th or thereabouts of 2023. I wasn't in government at that time. That they are alleging him to have stolen 70 billion. That was even before I took over. Now, by the time I took over, I realized that 70 billion they mentioned is a child's play.
Really?
Absolutely.
What did you find out?
So far, based on available records, we've realized over 250 billion that was not accounted for.
Are they stolen or are not accounted for? Are they being spent that the records are not right yet?
It's very funny. First of all, Shaun, let me explain to you the state I inherited. I inherited a very, very dysfunctional state. When I took over, there was no 4 million naira in Zamfara State government account.
It was emptied.
It was empty. Backlog of salaries. For 4 months, there was no salary. For 3 years, none of the Zamfara people wrote either WAEC or NECO. I had to settle 1.3 billion naira for NECO. I had to settle 1.6 billion naira for WAEC. For Zamfara student backlog.
So what were those students who were due for graduation? What happened to them?
There was nothing. It was after we settled those fees, now they're able some to get even their certificates.
So education was moribund The health sector.
The statistics are there.
Yeah, if I was reading now the health sector, the doctors that are in Zamfara is one of the poorest.
Zamfara has been the letter Z in terms of education, in terms of healthcare, in terms of infrastructure. Shaun, apart from the backlog of salaries, KEDCO, that is Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, we had to settle 1.3 billion because all the ministries and parastatals, including government house, were disconnected.
So you are very serious about probing some of what happened.
For 5 good months, there was no single drop of water in Zamfara State because they couldn't pay for the water treatment. Shaun, go and check. The judiciary in Zamfara State, they were not paid their entitlement for good 2 years. I had to settle them 1.3 billion to clear the backlog.
Governor, we are totally out of time now. You launched and commissioned some projects recently. How much of impact do you think that could be? Just in 30 seconds.
If you go to Zamfara now, you will see it's a clear, different state. I wish you had listened to the Chief of Defense Staff, one of his comments. He's schooled in Zamfara State. He's schooled in Sokoto State. But this time around, when he went to Zamfara, he couldn't understand where he was because of the new development that is coming on board. Shaun, for good, since 2011, Zamfara government did not pay gratuity and pension to the tune of 13.6 billion. Guess what? We have paid that now. We have paid more than 8 billion to pensioners.
Governor, we are totally out of time. I know it's a tough one, but I wish you the very best. And also our heart goes out to the victims of the flooding in your state. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight on the program.
Thank you, Shaun.
I wish you the very best.